Since 2003, this is The Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
The Sports Source is presented by Junk Be Gone, Pipe Wrench, and the Garza Law Firm.
The Sports Source starts now.
Good Sunday morning. Welcome into the Sports Source here in the Junk Be Gone studios. Appreciate you being with us. We have a lot of good stuff for you today. We got a good crew. We're going to talk Tennessee football all day because it's almost football season. You can feel it in the air. Appreciate you being here. We've got an incredible fall coming up in terms of this show, the Saturday kickoff show, doing the new Final Horn show on Sunday nights. We've got multiple shows that start this week on the Sports Source Digital Network. So for all your UT football needs, we are going to kill ourselves to give you tons of it this fall. Let me tell you what's coming up in today's show. I'll show you. I don't have to tell you, I can show you. Second scrimmage news, of course. MacIntyre had his chance. I'll just leave it there. Line of scrimmage surprise. Heupel underrated, but is he hot seat free? There's a debate over that this week. Scary swing games. Smokey gray uniforms, and you got to see DGG. That almost sounds like Jeopardy. I'm just reading it. And next, potpourri. All right. This segment brought to you by the Garza Law Firm. Have you seen some of the new ads running from out-of-state law firms that are out there? They're having to say, you will be represented by a local attorney. Well, yeah, but what kind of attorney do you get when it's the satellite office to a group in another state? What kind of support do they have? Be smart. Go local, and when you're going local, get the best. The best, local, it's Garza Law Firm. Marcos Garza and his team have been a part of this community for years and years and years. Track record, can't be beat. GarzaLaw.com to learn more. And if you want to write a name down, for in case someday you got to have an attorney, Garza is the name to write down. Okay, let's welcome in the names I wrote down today. We have back with us right over here, Josh Ward from 99.1 The Sports Animal. Chuck Cavaleras, who's been on this show since 2003. Wow. Ollie Lane, who's been on this show since 2024. Yeah. Ollie Lane, former Vol player, of course, and right there, Ball Hodge, since 2003 on this show. Thanks to all of you for being here. I do appreciate it. Let's get into this thing. Vols had their second scrimmage, as I mentioned a second ago. That was yesterday. Once again, it sounds like Faizon Brandon was the better of the two quarterbacks. Not necessarily because he's running away with it, more for what MacIntyre didn't do to keep up with him. Over the course of two scrimmages, and MacIntyre got the first reps yesterday, I believe, and had another turnover, a pick six, in fact, that we'll talk about later. Could have had another one that was apparently dropped. He's not as mobile as Faizon Brandon is. We know that even in red jerseys. And he's not made the big plays in the passing game that you've seen. Now, there were no big plays in the passing game yesterday for Brandon, I don't believe. But he did manage to show that his legs are a little better than MacIntyre. It just seems that Faizon Brandon, Josh, from what I've heard, talked to, read, whatever, because nobody can see it, it sounds like Brandon has been the better of the two. It's not like he's run into the end zone with this job, spiked it, and it's definitely his. It's that he continues to be a little ahead of MacIntyre. Is that what you're hearing? Is that the way you're taking it? That it is Brandon's, but it's not necessarily because he's won it as much as MacIntyre just hasn't claimed it?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I think with Faizon Brandon, it's kind of a carryover from the spring, that he came out of the spring maybe showing more than George MacIntyre had. I haven't heard that George MacIntyre has been bad.
Right.
It's more that he hasn't taken advantage of some opportunities, and Faizon has at times. When you hear about big plays down the field, you hear about them being made by Faizon Brandon. They're not totally live, but when you hear about opportunities to make plays with their feet, Faizon Brandon has that element as well. So I think with him being a true freshman, and you think about the potential that he has based on what he's shown in 8 months on campus, and you think about what he could do next with that, that's given him the advantage against George MacIntyre.
Yeah. Is it okay if I take a holistic approach to my answer? That's what Coach Heupel said,
go
right?
for it.
You know, the whole shebang, really, and I think that's what it comes down to. What happens when a play breaks down? Who has command of the offense? And it seems like it's Faizon. And I'll tell you one more thing. I was fortunate enough to be a guest at practice Monday, and he can throw a deep ball with a spiral and connect it on a couple of them that just really, I think that's one thing it will come down to also. You don't hear that as much about GMAC, right? And that's a trait that if you can push the ball downfield, not have turnovers, what does Heupel like?
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. This offense thrives on the deep ball. It always has.
Yes.
I think that going into it in the spring, I thought they would give MacIntyre every single opportunity in the world. I didn't think it'd be a real competition unless he just didn't claim it. I kind of think that's where you are. They've given him more opportunities here in fall camp to try. All right, you're getting the first team reps. Let's see what you can do with him. I think that it was one of those cases where everybody knows Faizon Brandon has the more athletic ability. But MacIntyre, could you be have better command of the offense, understand what we want to do? And it doesn't sound like he had to win in that direction, and he hasn't won in that direction.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on quarterback? You've seen him over there when you were over there. Your thoughts on this quarterback battle and the fact that it sounds like they're going to go with the freshman, the true freshman.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're 100% right. It sounds like they've given George almost every opportunity in both the spring and the fall to kind of claim this job, make it as his. I mean, he was there for a year. He had the ability to learn the offense, so he's already a step ahead. But from the reports that we heard from spring, it's just, you can't ignore Faizon's talent. His talent level is egregiously high. And then it's to continue to carry on into the fall. And so I think that shows a lot of promise in that he's going to do good things, and his ceiling's higher than George MacIntyre's. I think they've seen where MacIntyre's ceiling is, and they feel that they've got a better shot with Faizon. And I mean, I think we all saw it with a guy like Hendon Hooker that can improvise, move a little bit on his feet, get out of tough situations.
Exactly.
You'd rather have that guy than the program pocket passer that just, this is where I got to go with the ball and can't improvise as well, because then that's when you don't see an offense be as successful as it can be.
And the word on MacIntyre, and I had a friend that went to practice the day after Chuck went to practice, is the things that you just said. You don't want this guy just being programmed, go where the ball needs to be. But even when he does that, he's a step late with it. And he threw an interception at the practice that my friend was at, and he said it was because he was late with the ball. And that seems to be something that you keep hearing sort of repetitively, that, okay, he gets back, he holds the ball just a little bit
It's led to
too
pressure
long.
issues as well.
And then you got the pressure factor comes in too. So it sounds like where he needs to win, since he's not the better athlete of the two, is win it upstairs, and he's not doing that.
It would be nice if we had heard that Faizon, if every scrimmage you walk out of there and people are just like, oh my gosh, this guy, it's Tim Tebow. We haven't heard that. Doesn't mean he's not going to do that when you start. That's the thing. All this is just precursor. We're not going to know how either of these guys look until actual bullets are flying and you put them out there against Furman and really against Georgia Tech. But it would have been nice to hear that, oh man, he's looking dynamite. But I'm not really worried about it because I know he's got that upside. That would be a special occasion to have one of those guys. Most freshmen look like freshmen.
Yeah.
And they've got to learn. So I don't think anybody should be looking at that going, oh, well, he hasn't looked dynamite every single scrimmage. No, he's looked better than the other guy, and you've got more physical upside. Makes sense to see where it goes. Maybe when the lights come on, he is spectacular.
The same friend said that it looked like Brandon did have more of a presence about him.
I've heard that.
That, you know, okay, you go out there, and that's what you really wouldn't expect from the guy that just showed up last January. You would think the guy that had been there in the system for a full season before him, but he said he's the one that seems to carry himself like, okay, I am the guy.
I'm the guy. And also, you would think that MacIntyre would have a better rapport with the other guys on offense because he's been there for a year.
Yeah, I think with any young quarterback, we're talking about a true freshman with Faizon Brandon. He's in his first year on campus. You're going to expect some ups and downs.
Yeah.
I think what will excite people is the upside. I think what also Josh Heupel will be thinking is, okay, what does he do really well? What have we seen that he succeeds at? And that's a lot of what we're going to do early on to get him going, recognizing there'll be some growing pains. There'll be growing pains with George MacIntyre as well. But when you talk about what you can build on with Faizon Brandon and the advantages he's already shown to this point, that's what gives him the edge.
There were growing pains with Peyton Manning. Sure. We're going to go back that far. Yeah.
It's almost like I wonder if you're not dealing with like two different schemes you're thinking about offensively, the mobile quarterback, the drop back passer. Do you adjust any of that to fit what you do? And John, I think several shows ago or a while back, the traits of a quarterback I think you had, one of them you had listed high was how quickly they process what's going on and then make the right decision. And I think that's another thing we're seeing here.
Well, certainly you would think that would have some tie into the fact that you may be late with the ball or you may hold on to it too long. You're not getting as quick a read on what's out there.
Right.
So now the question is, if the other guy's getting a quicker read, is he always getting the right read? That's the trick. But it does sound like, and getting back to what Heupel wants, and I go back to the top of this segment, one of the things we've repeatedly heard when there were interceptions, and I think Brandon threw one yesterday, but MacIntyre had a bad one, pick six, had another one. He had one the first scrimmage. That was a great play by Aaron Carter, but in terms of turning the ball over, you're going to go with the guy who turns it over the least.
Especially Josh Heupel.
So, okay. When we come back, well, let's do this first. Hang on. Pull the music down. It's my fault. Hold on. Usually, Heupel names his guy after the second scrimmage. He's not revealing whether he's going to do that, but my guess is he's probably going to name Brandon this week. Right, wrong, agree, disagree? What do you guys think? You think they'll name him this week or no?
I would say right in that he will and that he should.
I think he may wait until closer to game week just to try and keep it as a competition as long as he can.
No, he'll name it this week.
He needs to name it this week.
Okay. All right. When we come back, now I mean it. Now we can start that music. When we come back, let's talk about the excitement that people always seem to feel when, it's one thing with a new quarterback. That's exciting. But when it's a hotshot freshman, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But there is something about having a freshman out there. We'll talk about that next. We got much more to come, including more scrimmage notes, offensive line, defensive line. We'll talk about the guy who had that pick six and more. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. Oh, man. Names. This segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. Folks, Nudura concrete forms, Nudura insulated concrete forms. If you have a project coming up, I want you to get to A.G. Hines Company. I want you to ask anyone with the last name Hines or anyone else down there. So it could be a family member, it could be a team member. Ask them about Nudura concrete forms. Build stronger, allows you to build quieter, more energy efficient homes. It's fantastic. And we've shown you photos on here before where hurricane hits a beach town. All the other houses are gone except for the one that looks like Lego blocks because once everything else is blown away, those Nudura concrete forms are steady and sturdy and they hold up. A.G. Hines Company, where you can learn more, aghines.com. All right. Peyton Manning and Brandon Stewart. Casey Clausen.
Yes.
Eric Ainge and Brent Schaefer. Jared Garantano. Harrison Bailey. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Brian Maurer, you pointed out.
Yeah.
But whenever you get one of these freshman quarterbacks, there is kind of an uptick in emotion, I think. I think there's a little bit more excitement and electricity. Chuck,
yes.
As I'm not going to make you wear the orange-colored glasses. Okay, yeah, you're the super fan on this show.
Here we go. I'm a super fan.
So, as super fan, what does this mean for excitement in terms of getting a freshman quarterback?
Well, I mean, hope springs eternal in college football, too, Yeah. I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
And it's been, 6 months since the Joey Aguilar case? And in that time, it's like, everywhere we go, I think we're going to be better. I think we're going to surprise some people this year. That's what the fans are saying. And you got this build-up. You got a 5-star quarterback. You don't get those every day. And you got a 4-star in-state quarterback. You got all these changes, so much new across the board on the defensive
keep it on the quarterback.
side.
We're talking
excitement. But I'm just saying it
quarterback.
all is in that same pot, stirring around, and it's the build-up. Is he going to be the starter? And if he is, how are we going to do? How far can he take us? It's not going to be as good probably as Jalen Hurts at Alabama, or I wrote down Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. But it can still lead you to some wins and a good season. And if we can just get that good quarterback play, the defense is going to be better. Let's go see how many games we can win. That's how they feel.
That's how the super fan, he couldn't contain himself. Very good. Here,
Let's take glasses.
Let's take those back. There we go.
It's a Christmas present.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You're sitting there ready to open. You don't know exactly what you're going to get, but you still got the excitement of getting the Christmas present open, and I think that's what Brandon is right now. I mean, everybody's kind of looking into him. I mean, we were just talking in between segments. I mean, plus you got an opportunity, something that's kind of new to the situation, new to college football, hey, we may get to sit back and watch this guy for
Yeah,
more
couple
than a
years.
year,
Yeah.
more than 2 years. So I think that's what it is. It is the Christmas present aspect of it.
No, exactly. And I mean, to your point, I mean, why not? Why not? Can he be a Jalen Hurts or a Trevor Lawrence for us? I mean, he could be. Then that's the thing that makes people so
Set those
excited.
expectations.
Yeah, set them real high. No, but I mean, it could go one way really high or go one way really low. You don't know, and so your fan expectation is this guy's a 5-star. He's going to be fantastic, and it's fun to see it that way. It's fun to see some excitement into it, especially when you don't know how the kid's going to look day one, game one. So I think it gives fans a lot to kind of grasp onto, but then it also gives them some leniency. Something doesn't go right in the first few games. It's like, all right, he's young, he's learning it, he's figuring it out. Now you get to game 12 and there's still some stuff going on. You might have some concerns then, but it does give you a little bit more, I feel like, leniency throughout the season.
Well, you said between segments here. You pointed it out, and we all made fun of you, and then Bob stole it. The fact that even in this day and age, when somebody could come in and pay somebody away, buy somebody away, there is the possibility of having a guy be your quarterback for the next 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, seeing a guy develop 3 or 4 years through a career, through one program, I mean, it's been a long time since fans have been able to grasp on a guy's name, watch him for 3 or 4 years, see him go from an 18-year-old kid to a 21, 22-year-old man and graduate. I mean, it's been a while. I think Hendon was the last one that's played 2 consecutive years back-to-back. And
Yeah,
before
Heupel's only-
then, I
that's the
mean, I
only one.
can't – Jarrett was the longest tenure before that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be exciting for fans, and I think bring more of that aspect back to it that you've lost with NIL as people start going from place to place.
I guess Garantano, who had it, lost it, won it back, fell back to him, whatever. Dobbs was probably the last guy that played multiple years and left on a high note, I guess.
Even after you burned his.
Yeah, but as a freshman.
As a freshman.
Josh, I think we in the media, at least me, maybe it's just me, I tend to look at it and also know that, freshmen, there's some bad things that come with that too. There's some dangers. So I think media is a little more skeptical usually because you look at it, it's like, well, it causes a few more worries. But as a radio host with his thumb on the pulse of the Vol fan base, I guess it'd be these 2 fingers on the pulse of the Vol fan base, do you agree that the excitement usually tends to rise with these freshman quarterbacks, or do you think it's more worry and concern?
Oh, I think optimism and excitement for the future rises. I think in this case as well, there are several reasons surrounding it. It'll start with Faizon's ability and potential. People look at a 5-star quarterback and they see the dynamic ability he has, and that's enough to get excited about. But then if you factor in, well, Josh Heupel is a proven offensive coach. He's one of the best offensive coaches in the country. And then you factor in the talent that will surround him currently and in the future. If you're talking about a young quarterback, you're talking about what you can build on. Well, there's a running back we're going to talk about later in the show that everybody's talking about right now in the Tennessee fan base. So if you factor in what Faizon can become and what they're going to put around him, then even if there are growing pains, you got to have some level of success. If they go 5-7, we'll have that conversation as well. You're not going to be too excited about the quarterback. But if the team can have success this season to some level, and you talk about what it can become next year, that's when people really get fired up.
And I always add, there's a reason for the term freshman mistake. And it's not a myth, it's a fact. And there's going to be some growing pains, and they must struggle. There's going to be struggles. But you hope to get better, and by the midseason on to the end, you're playing championship level football with a true freshman or a freshman at quarterback.
And
And
if
what
they can win
Josh
some
said
big
about-
games this season with Faizon, then watch out.
Going 5-7, then we'll be excited about a new coach.
Well, we'll get to that later in the show, too. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about a surprise yesterday. Sounds like the defensive line, which had been a question mark, had the better day against an offensive line, which was most people thought would be your strength this year. We'll ask the former offensive lineman Ollie Lane to break that down for us. Is that a better sign for the defense, worse sign for the offense? That's next, and plenty more to come. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Bullet Time's running out to enter this fantastic contest. Uncle Jim's River Cove Campground, they are giving away, if you are an RV owner, you know how hard it can be to get an RV tailgate spot near Neyland Stadium. They're giving them away for the home games this year. Not only do you get the tailgate spot, you also get 2 tickets to the game. You also get 2 free nights at Uncle Jim's River Cove Campground. 7 winners, 1 for each home game, $1,200 value. That is a spectacular giveaway. Follow the QR code. Go to the website, rivercovecampground.com/Vols to enter today. Enter immediately. Okay, we got a poll question which ties into our last segment, and that is, how do you feel about a freshman quarterback? In that tiny little picture is Faizon Brandon. Much more excited, more worried, much more worried. All right, so the fans so far, more worried. Now, I will say, and I say this every week, the folks who go to the website to play this at night, who sit there and wait for it, they're typically the malcontents, and I mean that in the best possible way. They're typically the folks that aren't happy or usually mad or gripey, so they say much more worried. Okay, that's good. You can take your smartphone and play along here. Maybe most of you are worried. I can see it. Again, I think there's concerns along that line. I'm not going to argue anybody's point of view here, but more excited is quickly taking the lead. Take your smartphone, point it at the QR code beneath the Hearthside Bank logo. Play along with us. Let us know what you think. We do this every week. And remember, your votes always count. So even when the lines aren't moving big, that just means we've had a lot of people take the poll. So early on, it moves more and more because there aren't as many people there. So keep playing it. It helps me out figure out how to finagle this show every week. All right. Ollie. I hope that's the correct pronunciation. We're going to get into that later. Brandon and MacIntyre both had a little bit of it was a rougher day yesterday in the first scrimmage for Brandon because the pass protection wasn't great. You reportedly had a lot of holding calls yesterday. Everyone has questions about the defensive line, and Ronnie Gardner had talked about inconsistent. The offensive line was supposed to be a strength. All right, it's one scrimmage. Yeah. Is this a better sign, the fact that the defensive line had a better day early than the offensive line? Is that better news for the defense or worse news for the offense? Where are you, former offensive lineman?
I'm going to go ahead and take this as better news for the defense. I mean, especially from all the reports you've been hearing from.
Protecting his boys.
I'm going to get to it. But everything that Ronnie Gardner said is this D-line's been inconsistent. We haven't put stacked days together. And it sounds like they're finally do that, and that's a position group that we really need. I mean, it was evident last year with the injuries that it wasn't as present as it was 2 years ago. That's a position group that can really help carry this defense into success. But then on top of that, look, it's a scrimmage. Offense isn't always going to be on point every single day. They're testing out different combinations of who they're going to end up filling in that right tackle position. So you're going to have, I feel like, maybe some communication letdowns here or there as you're putting new people in next to each other. But then on top of that, too, there's a lot of moving parts on the offensive side of things that can cause pressure, not just the offensive line. I mean, you give up 3 sacks, then that's a great day for the defense. Out of 100 plays, 3 losses, it's a great day for the defense, terrible day for the offense. So it's hard to stack it up and say, well, this is worse news for the offense. I think it's better news for the defense. And I think when you factor in 2 young quarterbacks, probably some of them hold the ball a little too long. The holding calls is something that I will say I'm concerned about. I mean, I was one that was a favorite of the holding calls. I used to get a lot of them. So, I mean, it's hard to break away from that. Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I think they just got to continue to work on the technique, especially where you're putting your hands on guys. That's the biggest thing that's going to cause a holding call. If you get outside the framework, you can call it every time.
Let me ask you guys if this changes anything. They had been running with Ori Williams at right tackle for much of fall camp. They switched it this week, and including yesterday, you had your first-team right tackle was Jesse Perry. First-team right guard was Sean Mumarov coming in there because Perry moved outside. Does that lead to any more concerns that you didn't have a great day yesterday? You're still at this point in camp. You're right toward the end of camp, and you're changing who your right tackle is. Is that a cause for concern, Josh Ward?
Well, I think it just leaves the question open maybe more than we would have predicted at the start of camp. My prediction 3 weeks ago would have been Ori Williams right tackle, Perry at right guard, and maybe it still plays out that way. I think what you feel better about is Jesse Perry's a year older. This time a year ago, or close to this time a year ago, he was inserted to right tackle because all of a sudden during the opening game, David Sanders Jr. can't go. So you're in a better position now than a year ago, I think, in that regard. But it remains a question, and if you have questions about the offensive line with a young quarterback that you have to protect, sure, that can be a concern going
and
forward.
I think it speaks to the versatility of Jesse Perry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if we know he had a lot of experience at tackle, you felt like he was more of a guard, did you not, Ollie?
Yes.
Is that correct? So if he can do both, I just think that gives you much more tools in the toolbox.
Got to be quick.
I think it's good news because I think the offensive line has a pretty high floor. And so if your defensive line's playing better, okay, I'll take it.
Okay, very good. We'll come back and I'll start with you. I cut you short there. I'll let you start the next one. When we talk more about the notes that came out of scrimmage yesterday, we'll talk about the guy with the pick six. We'll talk about the guys who are battling for the third string, the number 3 receivers position. We'll go through this quickly because we've got a lot to come in this show and we've got to catch up. Come on back on the Sports Source. Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Folks, heat and humidity, it's still going to be rough here in the dog days of summer. Heck, it'll be hot in September. It's East Tennessee, probably into October now. Take care of your home. Protect the crawl space first. That protects your duct work, and that protects your flooring. Crawl space encapsulation from Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Look, the Haynes family's fantastic. They've done right by me for many, many years. They will take care of your home. They've been doing it since 1971. Call them for your pest control needs or crawl space encapsulation. Hey, want to announce something here. This is cool. Coming up Wednesday, it will be the first edition of Sterl the Pearl's Big Orange Pop Quiz. Oh, baby! It's going to be good. You're going to like it. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So you need to go into it and thinking, all right, this is part trivia question, part trivia contest. It's also part history lesson. There are going to be 7 episodes of this over the football season. If you watch all 7, you're going to walk out of there. You're going to need a UT diploma and a mortarboard on your head because it is Vol Football 101. Sterling does a great job with it. You're going to like it. Trivia contest starts Wednesday. We're posting it at 3 o'clock on the Sports Source Digital Network, free on YouTube. Let me show you what else we've got coming up here very quick. Monday through Friday, this is our on-air schedule. I mentioned earlier we're doing a lot of stuff. Monday through Friday, Riley Haltom is doing Vols in 15. Once fall camp ends, that's probably going to be more of a lunchtime show. Right now it's about 2 o'clock, but Vols in 15, all you need to know about the Vols in 15 minutes or less. Mondays, Ollie's going to be there with me. Marlon, Daniel Hood, that's the last roundup. That's Monday night live stream. Tuesdays, Rocky Top Reload. That's going to be once a month. That's our recruiting show. Then the Big Orange Pop Quiz every other Wednesday. Fridays, that's Jimmy Himes and Heath Schuler with the Friday Walkthrough. That is a live stream, 3 o'clock Friday on the digital network. And then here on Channel 6 and the digital network, the Saturday Kickoff, the Sports Source, and the Final Horn with Tyler Ivins and Sports Talk Jay. Wow. We got you covered, baby. We got you covered. Okay, let's talk about very quickly the other nuggets from scrimmage yesterday. We're going to make this a race. Bob, what's the bigger deal? Ty Redmond? He's been ill. He was back, got his first scrimmage work yesterday. So you got your starting cornerback back. Or remember a couple weeks ago when I said, well, they just had, they took Ethan Davis out for precautionary reasons. Yeah, no one's seen him since. He was out again yesterday. What's the bigger deal? You get your starting cornerback or your starting tight end is still missing?
As much as I have talked about Ethan Davis since last season and what I think he could be, I'm going to go with Ty Redmond because at least you got a known commodity. Ethan Davis is sort of speculative. Man, he could be great, but he never does seem to be available. So I'm going to go the bigger deal, Ty Redmond coming back and helping your cornerback position with somebody that at the end of the season last year had developed into a pretty good player.
Okay, everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Redmond over Davis? Okay. With freshman quarterback, though, I'd like to have my tight ends out there.
But if he's not available,
which he seldom is, apparently. I mean, at some point,
on the
number
field,
one
Ethan
ability
Davis is a really good player. His availability is going to be key for that offense.
As coaches say, the most important ability is availability. Okay, or dependability. You can go that way too. Pick 6. I mentioned it yesterday, and that was here. Can we get there we go. Dejon Lane. Now, last week, I guess when Idris Farouk went down, I kept referring to DeJuan Lane because, I don't know, DeJuan Lane. Nope, that's pronounced Dejon. Of course it is. Because these guys, I think they just changed their names to mess with me. Dejon Lane, though, stepped in. He was the guy, they brought him in from Penn State. People expected him to replace Idris Farouk. Farouk had a really good summer, really good camp. So when Farouk gets hurt, it goes back to Dejon Lane, I got it. At some point I'm going to say Dejon Mustard. But it goes back to him. Has the pick 6 yesterday, which good sign if you're sitting there worried about what you're going to have at safety. Nice that he gets a pick six.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
Because for Tennessee's defense, it's terrible, of course, for Idris Farouk for him to lose the season. But for Tennessee's defense, Farouk, I think, was one of the big offseason winners, and fall camp.
Yeah.
They were really excited about what he could do. Having Lane come in, along with T.J. Metcalf, a transfer from Michigan, Lane having played in this defense for Jim Knowles at Penn State last year, if he can step up and make plays, that can help as they also try to develop some young talent behind Metcalf and Lane who have more experience.
And T.J. Metcalf also had an interception, correct? So that's both of your safeties. Yeah, that's what I read.
Okay.
That's what I saw.
All right. You saw it or you read it?
I read it.
Let's see. All right. Let's see. Last one. People are still talking about who's going to be the number 3 receiver.
Yeah.
You had Josh Heupel yesterday after practice said that Radarius Jackson, T.K. Keys, and Travis Smith all flashed some. So still a competition for the number 3 receiver. And, of course, you still got Tariq King, who is – you got 6 guys that people have high hopes for over there. So good sign. We'll leave it right there. You guys don't get to comment on that. That's just – I said it, so it's fact. Okay, when we come back, The Athletic has a new college football coaches ranking that they came up with in the last week or two. I want to run through that. I got some problems with their math. We'll show you where they rank Josh Heupel, and I'll explain why I don't like their math. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Now through August 31st. The clock is ticking, folks. Rebates on in-stock G3 boats up to $1,500. Rebates on in-stock Suncatcher pontoons up to $5,000. Bob, you were fishing the other day, and you told me you were in the middle of an armada of boats from Madisonville
No, I thought
Marine.
I was in the middle of a Madisonville Marine commercial. I mean, every boat there was from Madisonville Marine.
And everybody was happy?
Yes, they were.
There you go. Madisonville Marine, madmarine.com to learn more. Joe Special and his crew, they got plenty of specials going on right now at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat. Let's remind folks of the poll, see where that stands right now. More Excited is in the lead. We've only 7% say much more excited. So we're in the middle. So what is that? I'm having a hard time. It's right on the line.
Yeah, 55%.
55 and 32. More worried is
More excited,
32%. So more excited is winning. More worried is number 2. We don't have the extremists out there. So for the extremists, go ahead and click it. We'll wait for Sterling to get in there and say, much more excited. Okay. Hey, The Athletic put out a ranking. Let's go ahead and put it up there. Of college football coaches a couple of weeks ago. This is our first chance to really discuss it here. They broke coaches into tiers. They called it the standard, and I'm just showing you the SEC coaches, but they called it the standard. That's number 1, tier 1, and that was 2 people, Kirby Smart and Curt Cignetti. Okay, Curt Cignetti, who came from nowhere to now he's the greatest coach in the history of football. All right, then you have 10 coaches in tier 2 called established winners, and 3 of those are from the SEC, Kalen DeBoer, Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian. Then you drop down, and that's where you find Josh Heupel. Consistency with upside. He's like, John Summerall, who's been at Tulane, never coached Power 4. Clark Lee, Mike Elko at A&M, Eli Drinkowitz. That's where Heupel is, sure. The only problem I have is those established winners. 686 is the winning percentage for Lane Kiffin. 631 is the winning percentage for Steve Sarkisian. Josh Heupel's winning percentage is 723. And that includes 5 years in a Power 5 conference where he won 10 games and 11 games. I don't understand why Josh Heupel is not viewed as an equal with Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian. I get it that Sarkisian's been to a couple of playoffs. Kudos. He's also at Texas. He didn't take over a dumpster fire. Lane Kiffin? Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't see it. I know that everybody loves him. I know that he's the Twitter king. Great. But this to me is ridiculous. Either Heupel goes up a notch or Kiffin at least goes down a notch, in my opinion. You guys tell me, is Heupel in the right spot? Who should rise and fall on that list, gentlemen?
No, I do not think he's in the right spot, and I think this is somewhat par for the course of that Tennessee effect, where Tennessee gets downplayed. I know,
yeah, that's it. They all hate the Vols. Right?
Yeah. But I mean, to your point, it doesn't make sense. I mean, at a .723 winning percentage, are you going to compare him with a Clark Lee John Summerall. I mean,
Well,
I don't
Summerall's
get it.
got a good winning percentage, but
But I mean,
he's
it's
done
not
it
been
all
in Power
at-
5.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, he's been at UT for 5 years. Like you said, won 10, 11 games. Would have been in the playoffs twice if the playoff
Yep.
structure was different in 22 than it is now. So I mean, I don't see that. I think he definitely belongs in that tier with Lane Kiffin and Sarkisian. I think that's right. That's a good spot for him.
If Kiffin had a championship or something, I would say, okay, that's what
I
sets him
understand
apart.
Yeah.
Haven't
He
seen
just
him-
has the 10-win seasons at Ole Miss, the most consecutive they never had before. That's what
Okay,
he.
so would you put him ahead of Heupel?
I'd put Heupel up there in that fourth slot on that list and have no problem.
Well, those guys aren't ranked; they're just
Right,
thrown in.
I know,
there,
but
so
still,
you put it-
right
you put him
there,
in,
yes, no problem.
What do you think, Josh? You think he's right spot?
I don't have a problem with the coaches in the tier above. I have a problem with Heupel where he is because he's 9 seasons in his 2 drop-off seasons at Tennessee since, of course, year 1. They dropped back to 8-4.
Yeah.
To me, that's winning. That's proven that you can win. Preseason, they're top 20 going into this season. So I don't have a problem with the coaches above in terms of their tier. I have a problem with Heupel being a tier below. I would have Mike Elko higher as well. Maybe they want to see more seasons out of him, but
I think I would too.
that could be it. That's fine. But Heupel, the winning if it's winning, the winning percentage I think would be a big factor. And he's done it at a place where he did have to bring Tennessee up. Sarkisian did that at Texas. He wasn't able to win at a very high level at Washington or USC. I would hold that against him.
No, and also at Texas, he does have typically one of the top 3 most expensive rosters in football year in, year out.
Right.
So a little bit of advantage. Most coaches, if you give them a blind taste test, Texas or Tennessee,
Right.
they're going
If
to
the
take
talent's
Texas.
even, I'm taking Heupel on my sideline before I'm taking Steve Sarkisian.
And that's
Well,
where I am. Whether you like the guys above it or not and dropping them, I'm just saying Heupel should be in the same zone
Right.
with
Yeah,
Kiffin
right.
and
Yeah.
Sarkisian, in my opinion.
I mean, I look at the list of the people above him and go, okay, would I rather have him or Sarkisian? Would I rather have him or Kiffin? I'm not even sure about it. I'd rather have him DeBoer hadn't shown me any greatness down at Alabama yet.
Yeah.
So,
He did a good job
yes,
at
I think he
Washington,
is in the
but-
wrong. I think he is in the wrong place. I would have moved him up with the other guys.
Yeah, no, we'll see. That changes year to year. Lane Kiffin wins a national title this year. I'll sing a different tune. Josh Heupel goes 5-7 this year. I'll sing a different tune. But based on what I'm seeing, I'm looking at the winning percentage. Like, well, these guys are proven winners.
Yeah.
Those guys with a 40% worse winning percentage are
Yeah.
proven winners.
And a lot of love for the Tulane coach, right, that goes to Florida. What about that schedule that he has some built-in wins there when you're at Tulane? Did a good job, no doubt about that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. They had another coach named Billy Napier, who everybody thought was going to be the greatest thing. Just like here, Jeremy Pruitt was going to be the greatest thing, and Butch Jones, Derek Dooley. Whenever you get on that treadmill, it's tough to find them. That's why I would give respect to a guy who's actually shown up, turned this thing around. We'll talk about that next, as a matter of fact. Somebody in the national media referred to the fact that Josh Heupel turned this around, but he thinks if things go wrong, Heupel could wind up on the hot seat this year. Someone else in the Tennessee media took him to task for that. We'll get into that next. Come on back. Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by El Chico. If you're looking for one-of-a-kind Tex-Mex, get yourself to El Chico right off the Merchant Drive exit, technically Cedar Lane. I don't know how it changes names because it's sitting right there on Merchant Drive. El Chico. Folks, all football season long, during every Vol football game, happy hour prices at El Chico. So every Vol game, happy hour during the game. Go see Carlos, Hannah, Amber, the folks at the bar there at El Chico. So many Mexican places taste alike. Not El Chico's Tex-Mex tastes differently. That's not easy to say. Quickly. Check them out this week, El Chico. All right. Zach Reagan of A to Z Sports had an interesting take this week. First, he referenced Pete Thamel's comments on a podcast. Pete Thamel, I think this was an ESPN podcast. Let's go ahead and put the graphic up there so I can read it. The place where if things went sideways could get a little hot, and I'm not saying that's deserved, by the way, because I was there before Josh Heupel got to Tennessee, and the program was an utter dumpster fire. It was Philip Fulmer as the AD, McDonald's bags of cash, actually Chick-fil-A. Jeremy Pruitt, the clown prince of SEC football coaches in my lifetime, is Jeremy Pruitt. And Josh Heupel took that thing from complete and utter disarray and made it respectable, made it fun, made it vibrant. But it does not feel like a segment of the fan base at Tennessee, but it does feel like a segment of the fan base at Tennessee has forgotten where they were and is now focused on where they're not. They were a playoff team 2 years ago. I think they'll be very good again this year. I'll be very clear about that. Heupel's buyout number is $28 million. Okay, so Zach Reagan of A to Z Sports didn't like that. His take, He says, I have nothing against Thamel. He's a smart guy and an excellent reporter. He's good at his job. But we all have bad opinions and bad takes. Every one of us, I know, have contributed my fair share. I think this one is a bit of an insult to Tennessee fans. I don't think any Vols fan who uses real logic and understands football and competitive sports has any thoughts of Heupel being on the hot seat if Tennessee has a tough season with a freshman starting quarterback because the ball doesn't bounce their way a few times. Okay. I read Zach's stuff every day. I think he does a good job at A to Z Sports. It helps me find stories. Excellent stuff. I'll ask you guys, who's right there? Pete Thamel, that if things go wrong, some people are going to put Heupel on a hot seat, or Zach Reagan, that no, Tennessee fans are too smart for that?
Pete Thamel. 100% Pete Thamel. We said it earlier. If things go really wrong, Josh Heupel I think will be fired. Now, is it 8-4? Yeah, probably not. 7-5, not quite as probably not, but probably not. After that, I think it is a real question, and anybody who doesn't think that way, go to a UT game, sit there and listen to the people when things aren't going well for Tennessee. Well, it's just here we go again, same old thing, same old coaches. So yes, I think he could be on a hot seat if things go bad.
As much as I hate to say it, I feel like I agree with you too. I mean, I'm not that far removed from hearing and taking phone calls after the Oklahoma game last year,
Yes.
the Vanderbilt game last year, where fans
Exactly.
were already saying he should be on the hot seat. My personal opinion, I don't think he should be. But to your point, I mean, if it goes really, really south this year and they don't go to a bowl game, that's a completely different outlook on the entire thing, I feel like. That you got to have some question of where is this thing going. But I think at the end of the day, my personal opinion, I would not put him on the hot seat. I think from everything we've talked about throughout this entire show, he's shown us that, give him some respect. He knows what he's doing out there. But, I mean, he's 100% right. Tennessee fans, if it goes sideways, Tennessee fans tend to turn.
Yeah,
I
but
think everybody does.
fans are going to be fans. That's what fans do. It's what Danny White thinks, or it's what some of the money people think, right? I mean,
That's when fans get involved.
Well,
Fans,
they can get involved. But, I mean, what's it going to take, 5 and 7? Who's this running back you have coming in for next year? I think that buys Josh Heupel at least one more season. And
I don't.
I do.
I don't think it buys him anything.
Oh, I do.
I think
do.
if you go 7-5 or worse, I don't think that
7-5 with a freshman quarterback, with a brand new defensive coordinator, and a 9-game SEC schedule with Georgia Tech. That's not that bad of a season. It depends on how the games
I'm
play.
not disagreeing with you, Chuck.
Right.
I think you're right, but I think that puts him squarely on the hot seat.
Yeah. Well, I think the seat might get a little warm. That's my opinion.
always got to Cavalierish it somehow. Hot or no?
That's what
Warm. Okay.
I think they're both right, John, Zach and Pete. That's what I say.
Good job.
Look, there are very few coaches I think.
Hang on, I need to build a barrier. You're starting to give off.
There are very few coaches in college football. Kirby Smart, Kurt Signetti, maybe a couple others, Dan Lanning, I don't know, where if they go 6-6 or worse, that the fans would be like, okay, that's fine. Well, let's just bounce back next year. Everybody, it's just college football. James Franklin a year ago was coming off a semifinal.
There you go.
He didn't make it through the season. So right now, I think fans are more on the excited part. Side of it. We just spent last segment talking about Josh Heupel should be in a higher tier.
Correct.
Among coaches in college football. But things change so quickly. So if Tennessee were to go 6-6 or worse, then yeah, there would be a lot of fans upset.
Let them loose to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Let them loose to Georgia Tech, and I'll tune in on Sunday morning before this show and listen to you guys, and I'll wait for the phone calls. And I know what I'm going to hear. So I do think that in this instance, Pete Thamel is more correct. Now, he's also saying an element of the fan base. He didn't say the whole fan base. So I think, how do you define that? Yeah. So I think there would always be a group that's tired of a certain coach or whatever. I don't think, to me, if he has a bad year this year, I don't care. He's shown you what his upside is. Now, that's what I'm looking for. What's your upside? And we said it last year. We constantly heard people saying, well, he's a 7 or 8 wins, coach ceiling. It's like, you're an idiot. That's the floor. You need to buy a dictionary. You don't get the definition of floor and ceiling, folks. You're standing on your head in your house, apparently. His ceiling is 10 or 11 wins in a playoff. His ceiling is going toe-to-toe with Alabama. It's putting Florida back in the back seat in your rivalry. That's his ceiling. His floor is 8-4. He took over a bad team and made it 7-6. I don't even call that his floor. I look at it and think this guy is building something here. When you look at Faizon Brandon, if you come out of this season and let's say it's 6-6, but he's injured for some part. At the end of the year, you got a guy and you're starting to feel good about it. You know DGG's in next year. I just hold on to him. So I wouldn't put him on the hot seat, but I absolutely think Pete Thamel's right there.
No, and just to clear, I wouldn't either.
No, we've pretty clear. You would fire him right now. Go listen to people at Neyland Stadium. You'll hear me say
you're going to pay that $28 million fine.
See, now that's where fans do get a say, though.
Yeah.
If Danny White I don't think Danny White's crazy enough to want him fired right now. I think that also starts the clock on Danny White.
Exactly.
But if everybody starts saying, yeah, all these buildings, we're taking our cash back. We're not going to div on that. Then you got to start listening. All right. I want to tease one more thing here. We got right now, there's a new column up from Jimmy Himes, went up yesterday. It's his predictions for 2026. You want to read Jimmy's stuff, you can go to ssdn.tv or sportsource.tv. It's the same thing, but if you want it short and easy, ssdn.tv. Click the Jimmy Himes button up at the top. You can read his columns every week. All right, when we come back, we know the big games. We know the cupcakes. There are 6 games kind of in the middle, varying degrees. I'm sure Chuck will have varying degrees. What's the scariest swing game? That's next. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment of our program is brought to you by Safety Systems. Folks, I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. Everybody thinks, well, a security system, it's all for home protection. Well, certainly. It does other things as well, though. It allows you, if you have aging parents that you're having to care for, gives you a camera right there. If you got kids that you're at work, they get off school, you want to know what they're doing, you got cameras right there. You got to watch a pet, you got cameras right there. Also, it can drop your insurance premiums to have a camera system in your home. Safety Systems is the one to call to get this done. Do it this week. Give them a shout. And whenever you call them, be sure to tell them Sports Source. Sports Source sent us. We're here because of the Sports Source. You tell VFL JJ Surlis and his team that. Heck, VFL JJ Surlis may be on our show here in the next week or two just for kicks. Okay, let's reveal the poll results. There we go. More excited is your winner. I still can't read the number. It's 56. Yeah, I can't read it. Okay, 56 and then 32 is. No, I can read the more excited. I can't see the little tiny number. More worried, 32%. And then again, the edges are out there. So a little more excited. Well, a lot more excited than more worried. Thank you for playing along. I appreciate it every week. Okay. UT schedule, pretty simple to break down. The big games are Texas, Alabama, A&M, and LSU, though, as Bobby Bowden once said, the big game is the one you lose. The cupcakes, Furman and Kennesaw State are what's expected to be the cupcakes. That leaves 6 games. Let's pop up the schedule here for a couple minutes. All right, so you got at Georgia Tech. They will be playing over there on the right as who the opponent plays before you. So you're going to come out of Furman. They're going to be coming off a game with Colorado. Another swing game would be Auburn. You'll be coming off Texas. They'll be coming off Vanderbilt. At Arkansas. Now, everybody thinks that's just going to be a pushover, but as Bob has pointed out many times, Arkansas has been a house of horrors for Tennessee over the years. They will be coming off a game at Texas A&M. You'll be coming off the Auburn game. Then another swing game at South Carolina. They're coming off an open date. You're coming out of at Alabama. You're there. Kentucky, both teams coming off open dates. That's here. And then at Vanderbilt, you're coming off the LSU game. They're coming out of a Florida game on the road. What is the scariest swing game, Josh Ward?
Pretty easy pick to me, South Carolina. In terms of how good they could be with their talent and the schedule advantage they have.
Okay, the open date for them, and you're on the road after
you're
Bama.
Going there. You could
not only Bama, you've played 7 straight games there at that point.
Right, yeah. So you're going to be playing your 8th straight game, coming off the Alabama game, and you mentioned going to Arkansas. Well, the last time Tennessee went to South Carolina, that could have gone better. Yeah. So for all those reasons, now if South Carolina has injury concerns that continue through the season, that changes my pick. But right now, I would say South Carolina.
And quickly on that note, on South Carolina, Tennessee should wear those orange helmets, right?
Yes, exactly, 100%.
You love those orange helmets,
to fit, to break the mystique around the orange helmets. Bring them back.
Yeah, be a get-right game.
I thought you hated those,
get-right game,
Didn't you hate those?
No, I was not a fan. It didn't match. The orange doesn't match the orange of the jersey. We're not going to get into it.
I knew it was just literally just lob it over there. Scary swing game.
I tell you what, I'm going to go with Auburn, and I'll tell you why. And I don't think many people will pick that. That's against your former offensive coordinator. It's against your former defensive coordinator. They're coming in here with a quarterback that's a very good running quarterback, a top-tier quarterback.
Who's been in that system.
Right. And if you're kind of still have that, if you do lose to Texas, or whatever, you can have a hangover after that game. I would not overlook Auburn because I think then you're going to Arkansas, and like Bob says, that's not a guaranteed win by any means.
I think that's a legit concern because anytime two coaches know each other
Right.
and know each other's systems, you don't know how that's going to play out. Does
Right.
Golish get the better Heupel or vice versa?
Right.
Scariest swing game.
And that's I'm actually now going to go with Auburn, on that point too, because I mean the same thing. You're not going to have much tape on Auburn's offense. I mean, you have an idea of what they run because yes, it's very similar, but I mean you're not going to see a ton of tape on it. What that defensive scheme is going to look down there. And then to his point too, you're coming off a big game, a noon game against Texas. That's either going to be you're going to ride it really high because you win, or you're going to have a hangover because it's going to be a tough loss. Wow. And so how you roll into that next one against a former coach of yours, one that a lot of fans here still really like. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
All right, so we got a South Carolina. We got two Auburns, which surprised me. Yeah. Bob.
I was between South Carolina and Auburn. And I just think that South Carolina is more talented. I think the part about, Golish is going to know Tennessee's offense pretty good is a great point. But if they're healthy, South Carolina is a talented team who last year at times they looked like, man, that's a good football team.
And you're putting Lenore Sellers in a new offense that should be more built to his skills. It's part of it's Kendall Briles, so it's part of this veer and shoot tree. That should work to his advantage.
And you haven't had an open date leading up to that game. It's after it.
Yeah. I'm going to go different. I'm going to say Georgia Tech.
Okay.
And look, I think South Carolina is probably the most dangerous, so if we're going scariest that way. But the reason I think Georgia Tech's the most scariest is because if you lose that one, it's the first road game for whoever your quarterback is. First road game. If you lose that one, you're kind of behind the eight ball the rest of the season. Now it's like you're going to have to steal one somewhere else, because that's a loss no one's counting on. So then you really can't afford to drop one at Arkansas or against Auburn or South Carolina. That Georgia Tech thing, which is a tough road game, I think that could set you up for more grumbling down the back if you lose it. So to me, that's the one. Get past that. If you lose one in the SEC, I think people are going to understand it more.
Yeah, to your point of scariest, the unknown can be scary. You have the unknown of how is Faizon Brandon going to handle first power conference opponent, and it's on the road. And this week, Chris Winkie, who is the co-OC quarterbacks coach, was talking about how much to prepare for.
Yeah. Right.
And so you have to prepare for the unknown on their side as well.
And at least they play Colorado. You can get a little bit better scout.
If you want to hear more of that breakdown, go back to Sports Source Digital Network and check out yesterday's Saturday Kickoff, where we did a whole segment on that right there. All right. When we come back, smoky gray uniforms, no power tee, wearing them against Auburn. Story just keeps getting worse. Let's discuss that. We still have DGG highlights to show you. Come on back. Welcome back. This segment of our program brought to you by Games and Things. Football season is here. Is your home ready? Are you ready to watch all those games in comfort? If not, then get to Games and Things right now. Hurry, hurry! For the best selection of home theater seats in the state of Tennessee. Games and Things has that. See for yourself. I tell you every week, but go down there and check them out. You will see more seats in one room than you'll see anywhere else. Great home theater seat selection, Games and Things. Okay, here we go. Let's see them. There are the new smoky gray uniforms, the Neyland legacy. They've found any picture of Neyland and tried to take. Well, here he was using a shoehorn, so we put a shoehorn pattern on the pant leg. It's whatever they found, they stuck them on there. So there's all kinds of UTs from multiple UTs. You couldn't just pick one. They've got one on the helmet bumper that's a stencil. They've got another one that he wore on a baseball cap. That's on the uniform itself. At any rate, some people are upset that there's not gray pants with that. It's fine by me. I'm more upset with the fact that for the first time since 1963, Tennessee will not have a T on their helmet. So they've got that. It's supposed to be reminiscent of what they wore in the 30s, I think. The problem is that the colors are wrong compared to what they wore in the 30s. But they can, you twist it and turn it, and if I say that, I'm just a bad guy. But when they use it, it's a salute to Neyland. So if I say, yeah, but the real colors are, I'm saluting Neyland. Here's my problem with it. Not just no power T. We'll let you guys chime in here. My issue is you've been wearing this gray stuff against Cupcakes for the last few years, which is where it should be. Wear that against Kennesaw State. Wear that against Furman. Tennessee Auburn is a traditional tennis. That's a rival. Mm-hmm. I grew up with that being a major rival. I want to see Tennessee in their uniform and their colors versus Auburn in their uniform, which they never changed theirs. I want to see those schools against each other. I don't want to look out there and say, oh, it's Auburn versus a gray thing with an X on its head. That's my take. Your thoughts on the uniform, the no T, wearing it against Auburn? Any of those stand out, or is there something else that stands out to you?
I think you have a new segment idea. Takes from John's lawn. That would be great. I think everybody's entitled to
That would be my favorite segment.
Yeah. I think it looks better than some of the previous Smokey grays we've seen the last couple of years because they're doing this series here. Mm-hmm. I was in the camp of I think gray pants will look better. I don't feel passionately about any of it. It's a little bit busy on the front because you have logos you just have to have there. I like the Adidas trefoil, though. I like that.
Mm-hmm. You got the Adidas logo, the SEC logo, and a Neyland patch.
I think I would probably pick Kennesaw State as well. I think for fans, this is the best jersey that they will be able to get from the last few, for what that's worth.
I don't have a problem with the jersey because it's got, this ticked some people off, it's got white around the orange, which makes it look like bright Tennessee orange. Yeah. When you take that white away, and I've said this for years, it looks muddy, but it also looks like a darker Syracuse orange. The white makes it look like Tennessee at least. Do you have any issues? Or
I just hope that doesn't lead to a major curse. I really don't.
Well, I'll be cursing, but
it's not like you see that and you think, wow, that's going to be great. I can't wait to see them in that. No, not for an SEC game. Like you're saying, usually against Kennesaw.
We're old. Go, young guy. You love it. Never wear orange again.
I'm going to be honest. Normally, you're right. I am one for the uniforms. The 2022 version of the Smoky Gray is the best that you're going to get. I believe I'm saying that correct. The original, the ones that were redesigned from the 2016, that had the helmet design, that's the best that you can make those look. Okay. I think the years after, last year it was the two-tone grays. This year now it's no gray pants. There's 1,000 different things going on. I like the logos. I like the old school UT logo on the collar.
Just go with that one.
There's a power T that needs to be on the side. Right. Or if you want to change it up, you could do the little UT logo on the retro logo. I know they've probably never worn that before, but I mean, something different.
Oh, but it's history.
Not a big X on the top. I mean, it looks like I'm playing Pee-wee and I can't carry the football because I got an X on my helmet.
I mean, don't give it to the guy with the X on his helmet. What do you think?
My salute to them.
Bob, your cup's got a hole in it.
You think it takes from my lawn. Here's the thing. I get hit with that because I'm a geezer.
Right.
How is that any different than the young guys who go on and on about, we need more gray, we need more purple? It's just you're screaming from your lawn, too.
Those are takes from the apartment, I guess.
Yeah, takes from your parents' basement. All right, when we come back, let's get on a happy note that everyone can agree on. David Gabriel George. If you didn't see some of his highlights the other night, we're going to show them. The balance this kid has is unbelievable. And also, I'm going to show you, I like something he did off the field even better than what he did on the field. Come on back. Welcome back. This segment of our show is called A Source for Good. We've been doing this since spring. It's our opportunity to take a charity that you might not know as well as some of the others with bigger budgets that do a lot of advertising, and those are great charities as well. But we try and shine a spotlight on some of the ones that don't get as much attention as they deserve. And this month, we're telling you about Generous House. Folks, this is a group right here in Knoxville, completely volunteer. So any donation you make, there's no money or anything that goes to an employee. It's all straight to the people that in need. And what they do is they run a food pantry. They can also take your cash donations, of course, for that, and a diaper bank. Located at 340 Park Village Road, they have given out more than 40,000 diapers to parents and grandparents who are taking care of kids now, who need them, who need help caring for their kids, for their grandkids. The biggest need right now are diaper sizes 1 through 5, pull-ups, and baby wipes. Visit their location or go to their website, generoushouseknox.org. These are good folks. All donations tax deductible, of course. And again, 100% volunteer. Generous House. It's a great way to give. We've talked about a lot of different charities over the summer and over the spring. This is a great one because it's a unique opportunity for you to help people in need with diapers or the baby wipes or the pull-ups. Generous house. Okay, David Gabriel George played on ESPN the other night, and look at the balance on this guy. We showed highlights of him a few weeks ago on the show, maybe a couple months ago, and what stood out, we came back and said, look at the balance. On that play right there, he was upside down. He was upside down. Look at this.
He balanced himself with his hand to regain his position.
That is Barry Sanders type nonsense right there. You've got the speed. I mean, look at this guy. I don't want to, I'm not trying to make everybody drool, but my goodness gracious, he is an impressive athlete. And I think we're coming up on the slow-mo run right here. All right, I probably should have sped this up a little, but you're going to get the gist. Watch his balance. You've already seen this play from another angle, but watch his balance on this incredible run. You guys can chime in because I've been talking.
Yeah, and he's out in the open field. He's a receiver on this play. So you get him in the open field against guys that are not going to be able to match up physically in some cases. Look at that spin. Yeah. He's able to find his position and keep going. Now, it's incredible.
Here's the one thing that's became a kind of an issue for people watching this game the other day. His helmet came off more than once.
Yes, three times. It was 3 times.
One, it's called the chin strap, kid. Get the chin strap. And also, let's hope they take him out of games quickly. But here's what he said after the game the other day. Actually, this was yesterday morning. He put out a tweet because everybody's just going on and on, including his uncle, about how he should be ranked higher. He shouldn't be the number 2 running back. I love this. He said, thanks for all the support. It's crazy, but I'm sick of talking about rankings. Whether I'm ranked second or not, who cares? Put me last. All I want to do is play football. It was a great game, but there's no need to insult the opposing team. They have some of the best players I've ever played against. Oh, boy, I like this guy. This is, for those people who are, you're old, you like this kind of, yes, you're right. That's exactly what I like. And if somebody doesn't like that, it's classy. Yeah. I don't want that. No, I love that.
I mean, the only way to stop him is to stop him before he gets going. Mm-hmm. Once he gets a step or two, it's almost like you're not going to tackle him with one guy. I think it's an amazing blend of power, speed, and balance.
I think the most impressive thing that I saw, too, in those clips was the ball control. I mean, he was keeping it high and tight, close to the chest. A lot of younger guys are all out here, fumbles. Not going to see that from a guy that knows to carry it like that.
No, I never had balance like that a day in my life. On the best day I ever had, I couldn't have done anything close to that. I mean, it's impressive. I don't see balance like that watching the NFL.
Yeah. Barry Sanders was the only thing that came to mind.
Now, everybody said, well, those aren't NFL players he's going against. No, but when you're upside down and still have it in your head that I can put my hand down, no. That's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's the real deal. He's put the work in. You've maybe seen online some videos of him in the weight room.
He also comes off the field and is watching the previous series on a television on the sideline.
He has the perspective of a 28, 30-year-old, a guy that's been in college and the NFL for a decade, not a guy that's in his senior year of high school.
And I hope Baylor, I hope they only play him in the first half.
Maybe it's just me, but to me, that the fact that he tweeted out, rank me last. I don't care. I just want to play football.
Yeah.
My goodness. You think about most of the guys today, and the kid's making $2 million. Mm-hmm. He has every right to be a huge ego. Mm-hmm. I'd so much prefer that. That just seems like work ethic and understands what's important. I just think Vol fans, I said this, we did this a couple of weeks ago, where I said, are you going to spend the season, checking the box score, or biting your fingernails, praying he doesn't get hurt?
Exactly.
The more I watch this kid, the more I'm sitting there going, oh gosh, please don't let him get hurt.
Exactly.
Because he will be a fun one to watch here at Tennessee. Any other thoughts on his play or what you saw in that game? We got about a minute here.
No, what impresses me about him is you've got big guys, you've got small speed guys, and then the balance thing, to me, that's almost over here all by itself. But he looks like those backs that when you get to the college level and then the level beyond that, make the great one. Because they're usually guys who are bigger than the average running back, yet they combine that speed with it.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube network, Sports Source Digital Network, this week, and Wednesday at 3 o'clock. It's the pop quiz. Check it out. See you next week.